So years ago, I was taking an art class and I was really a beginner painter, and the instructor raved about a certain color called quinacridone nickel azo gold. So I bought myself a tube, and as you can see, I didn't actually use it very much. And then, every once in a while I'd hear people again rave about it. They'd say, I love nickel azo gold. Didn't really get it. And I hadn't really even used it, even though I kept hearing about it. And then it went off the market, and I thought, oh geez, I didn't kind of miss my opportunity to use it and really learn how to love it. I mean, I have obviously this tube, so I can use this, but what am I going to do once I learn how great it is? But then recently heard Azo Gold came out. So Azo Gold is a replacement. Golden markets it as a replacement. So I'm going to test out quinacridone Azo Gold, do some color mixes with it, do the same with Azo Gold, do a pair of paintings, see how they stack up, and start to learn what's the big deal about quinacridone Azo Gold, and is Azo Gold a good replacement? So here are the two tubes of paint. We've got quinacridone nickel azo gold, I call it, and a lot of people call it nickel azo gold. And then we have our azo gold, which is the replacement. So let's start with the original, which isn't available for purchase anymore. Remember that. And it's a beautiful muted red-orange. So nickel azo gold, it's a mixture of two pigments. So it says right here on the label that it's a mixture, and it shows on the back what it's a mixture of. So we've got PO48, which is quinacridone orange, it just says quinacridone here, and PY150, which is nickel azo yellow. Quinacridone pigments are synthetic modern pigments, which are very, very transparent. The word azo is short for diazotized amines, which are just a synthetic organic pigment. And it's labeled as Series 7, and paint manufacturers use a series labeling for their prices. So if it's Series 1, it's the least expensive. Series 9 is the most expensive. So Series 7 is towards the pricey end. So PO48, the quinacridone orange, has been discontinued as a pigment, so paint manufacturers can no longer get their hands on it, so they can't make their paints out of it. So that's why you can't find quinacridone nickel azo gold anymore. Now, azo gold, that's also made by Golden Artist Acrylics, and they market it as an actual replacement for the highly beloved nickel azo gold. So you can see on the little labeling here, this is real paint that they use. It's also beautiful, muted red-orange, very transparent, and it's also a mixture of two pigments. So again, you can see right there, it says mixture, and on the back, it's PR101 and PY150. And as you might remember from the nickel azo gold, the PY150 is nickel azo yellow, but they've replaced the quinacridone orange with PR101, which is a synthetic iron oxide red. So on the label, they look very similar. The one nice thing is that price-wise, this is actually Series 4. So it's more of a mid-price tube of paint, which is really nice that the replacement is a little less expensive. So now, I've done some comparisons. I'm going to do I'll show you in a moment, my color mix comparisons. So I've taken quite a few tubes of common paint colors to a warm and a cool yellow, warm and a cool red, warm and a cool blue, three secondary colors. We've got oxygen purple, sap green hue, and cadmium orange. And then I just use some titanium white to kind of reveal what some of these mixes are. So I'm going to show you how all of these paints mix with both nickel azo gold and azo gold, so you can see how you can make this paint work. So here is the swatch sheet. Just double check that that's focused. Okay, so this side is the nickel azo gold, and this side is the azo gold. So I've started with pure paint just straight from the tube, and they look very, very similar. And then I added a little bit more white, just to see what you get. And through the whole mixing with white, very, very similar. And I will say, as I go through this swatch sheet, it's I'm not exact with how much I mix So it's just an approximation. So some differences might be simply because I've just added a bit more, let's say, of the original paint and less of the mixing color. So let's go through these colors and see how they compare. So I'll start with the two yellows. So because both of these Quin Nickel Azogold and Azogold are very warm colors, you're not seeing a dramatic range of colors, but you are seeing you can really warm up your yellow, make some of your Quin Nickel Azogold a bit more opaque, especially with the cadmium-free yellow medium. Here, the Hansa Yellow Lemon is very, very transparent. So you can see once you add in the Quin Nickel Azogold, also very transparent. Here, this again is what I mentioned where I've probably added a bit more Azogold. So you can probably get something similar with these as you do with the Quin Nickel Azogold. But yeah, the cad-free yellow medium, very similar colors that you can get. Okay, let's look at the two reds. So again, because Quin Nickel Azogold and Azogold is very kind of orangey red, you're not going to get a dramatic change in colors, but you can really, like cadmium-free red medium and Quin Magenta are both very, very vibrant out of the tube, but you can really just kind of bring it down a little bit and add some transparency, or vice versa if you want to consider that you're adding a bit of opacity to your Quin Nickel Azogold or Azogold, because they are very transparent. Cadmiums are always very opaque, so you can kind of play with your opacity and transparency by mixing these two together. And then Quin Magenta, because it's another quinacridone, also very transparent, so you can really bring down that intense vibrancy of the Quin Magenta with either of the Quin or the Azogold. Not dramatic changes, even with putting a lot of so this column is a lot of this mixing color, same here, and then this is a lot of the other Azogold or Quin Nickel Azogold. There's not a dramatic difference from, lot or little, because they're pretty close. Same with the cadmium-free red medium. Now, ultramarine blue and phthalo blue, because the Quin and Azogold are essentially kind of a red-orange, and blues are pretty much the opposite on the color wheel. This is where you can start getting dramatically different colors. It's interesting how, like, ultramarine or phthalo blue green shade is just ultra vibrant coming straight out of the tube, but you add just a little bit of Quin Nickel Azogold or the Azogold, and it just brings it down into this really beautiful forest green, and I really, really like that. So that's a good green to keep in mind, a good green mix. Ultramarine blue, it has a bit more red in the ultramarine blue, and it brings out a really, really nice, more of a gray green, which is nice. And if you want browns, easy to mix browns with either of the ultramarine blue or the phthalo blue. Now let's look at dioxazine purple. Dioxazine purple is a very, very strong mixing color. So I was trying to be very careful to make sure I had like a decent amount of Quin Nickel Azogold in these mixes. And it worked out pretty well. Quin Nickel Azogold and Azogold both seem to kind of hold their ground a little bit against the dioxazine purple, which is great. Again, you can make it really nice brown, really nice kind of more reddish brown, because dioxazine purple, of course, has a bit of red in it. And you can really make a nice dark purple that isn't an intense kind of acidy purple by adding just a bit of the Quin Nickel Azogold. And I'm sure you can with the Azogold as well. And let's look at sap green hue. So again, sap green hue is a nice kind of muted green just straight out of the tube, and you can mute it down even more by adding a bit of the orange. So that really helps increase your range of the greens you can get. So that's nice. And you can get more of like I don't know what you would call this color, like a really muddy orange that's not quite brown, a little bit brown, but not quite as brown as like the mixes with the blues. So that's a good one to know of. And last but not least, we've got cadmium orange. Now, of course, cadmium orange and mixing with either the quinacridone azogold or the azogold, you're not going to get a dramatic difference because they're all oranges. But again, cadmium orange straight out of the tube is really vibrant and you can really just knock it down. But you're not going to get a dramatic range of colors that you can mix, because it's so close on the color wheel, where, compared to the blues, which are the opposite. So you can get a bit more of a range. So looking at these two paint colors and how they mix with all of really common colors on a palette, really not seeing a dramatic difference. You can see they have similar transparencies, like if you compare the CAD-free reds here, similar transparencies no matter which one of the two that you're using. You can get beautiful range of really warm colors. So really just being able to do a ton of different oranges and reds and yellows, as well as some browns, and then you can play around a little bit and get kind of really muted colors of some of the originals. So I'm going to show you, I did a couple little paintings, just quick little sketches pretty much, to show how this works in a painting. So again, quinacridone azogold is on the left here and azogold on the right. Same painting, slight differences, but that's more of just because it's two different paintings. Really, you can just make a really nice warm scene without any issue using the either azogold or quinacridone azogold. So azogold can be used, I think, very similarly to the quinacridone azogold. It's a really good replacement. I still haven't fully mastered why some people love it so much, but I can see having a version of this on my palette. I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to use this as much as I had originally thought when I first bought it, but I'm definitely going to start using it more, and then of course bringing in the azogold once I use up the quinacridone azogold. But really either works. You're not going to don't feel left out if you never had the opportunity to buy and use quinacridone azogold, because the azogold works really well. And I think it gives it because of the transparency, it gives it a beautiful warm glow. You have multiple layers. I only did a couple layers of paint on this painting, but you could do far more paint layers than that. And really you're getting that transparency where you can see that kind of optical mixing, or the mixing of the different layers, because you can see through them. So that gives kind of a lot more depth to a painting. And really, these two paintings, I'm using a little bit of either quinacridone azogold or azogold in every color here. So there is kind of a unity to it, but it really shows you what kind of a painting you can get, just making sure that you use like azogold through everything. There's some in the sky, there's some in these bushes. I mean, I couldn't do every scene with azogold throughout it, but you can definitely do kind of a warm southwest desert scene like this without an issue. So there you go. If you didn't pick up your own tube of quinacridone azogold before it was taken off the market, you're still in luck, because azogold, great replacement. Looks great. I'm going to keep using both of them. And in the future, when I use them up, buy some azogold, because it creates a beautiful, warm, luminous glow to any painting. And if you're interested in other videos about what different colors are like when you use them with acrylic paints, or learning about color theory, subscribe to my channel.